Yo, welcome back to Layup Lines, the Bandwagon Sports College Basketball Show. I'm your host, DaRock, and I'm going to be going through Monday night's big results as well as here my picks for Tuesday's games. And I'm also going to be joined by a guest picker this week, so we'll get into that in a sec. But first, let's go through Monday night's games. The first game of the big Monday doubleheader, the Duke Blue Devils knocked off the Wake Forest Demon Deacons 77-69. Having never trailed in the game, the Blue Devils had a big win for them, leading by as many points as 9. You know, it was one of those games where while it was close, Wake Forest kept it close. You kind of always just knew Duke was going to pull it out. Kyle Filipowski and Mark Mitchell both with some big games. That's really what did it for Duke, the big men dominating. Phillip with 21 points and 10 rebounds, and then Mark Mitchell with 23 points and 8 rebounds is what led the Blue Devils to win. And then the other game, for the second week in a row, Kansas loses the second game of Big Monday. Call it a schedule midweek loss if you want. But they just got dominated in this one with Texas Tech winning 79-50. Kansas now, they fall to 7-5 in conference. Their fourth straight road loss. It's going to be now over a month since they've won a game on the road. This one was ugly. Bill Self got ejected for arguing with the refs. Once again, just what stunned Kansas in these games that they've lost, they just not shot the ball well, shooting only 18.8% from 3 and 32.7% as a whole from the field. And Tech, just dominant game, never really trailed after the 12-10 mark of the first half. What really did it, Deron Williams with a big night, 30 points and 11 rebounds, then Warren Washington with 11 points and 6 boards. They just really dominated Kansas on the glass as the two Kansas bigs, Hunter Dickinson and KJ Adams, only combined for 10 points and 10 rebounds combined. So not a good game from the Jayhawks. They had a nice win against Baylor, escaping at home on Saturday, but once again, they just struggled on the road in conference. Let's get into Tuesday's games, and now I will be joined by my guest picker. All right, so moving on to our picks here for Tuesday's games, and as you can see, I'm joined by a very special guest, the Big East expert himself, Ian Hacek. Ian, thanks for coming on the show today, my man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Big week of basketball, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So Ian is a very big Marquette Golden Eagles fan, so that's the game we're going to start with today. Marquette, 7th-ranked team in the country, is 3.5-point favorites on the road heading to Butler. Game's going to be at 6:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Ian, what are we liking in this one?
I think you know exactly what I like. I've got Marquette by 3.5, and I actually saw on my own Florida sports book, the one that's down here, it moved to 2.5. So I'm hammering that. I'm in love with this team. Tyler Kolek, most exciting player to watch. Oso Ighodaro is playing really well. They're starting to stay healthy with the exception of Sean Jones, who they lost in their first matchup with Butler. So this is a revenge game. They lost at home a couple weeks ago, 69-62. And I don't think they're getting swept by Butler this year. A lot of respect for Thad Matta. Hinkle's a tough place to play, but I've got Marquette going and taking care of business. They did against St. John's on National Marquette Day last Saturday. A lot of people are saying that this Butler game's a trap game because they play UConn and in a highly anticipated matchup, two top 4 teams on Saturday. But if I know enough about this team that they're not gonna let this one slip away. So I've got Marquette 3.5 to make it a 8-game win streak for the Golden Eagles.
There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna be riding with you on that one. Like you mentioned, Marquette lost the first meeting between these two teams, 69-62, back on January 10th. And I agree. Marquette's playing really well right now, and it's hard to beat a team twice in a year, despite having to go on the road. It's a tough place to play in Hinkle. But I'm going to ride with you and also go with the Golden Eagles. Any other plays on that game, or is that all you got?
Yeah, really interested that the over-under was 154. From the first meeting, it was 69-62, way under the 154. I like going under here also. Butler doesn't really play at a high tempo. Marquette can put up some high numbers, but in general, I'm just feeling kind of an earlier tip, and I don't think they're going to be filling it up quite enough. So I had my final score prediction 80-69, and so that would be well under the 154.
Gotcha. I'm liking that. And then the other really big East game here tomorrow at 7 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the Providence Friars host the St. John's Red Storm. Providence is minus 1.5 point favorites in that one. Who are you liking there?
The Dunk is going to be on fire for this one. If you look at Joe Lenardi's most recent bracketology report, these two teams are listed in the first four out and then the next four out. So they're really playing for their lives every game the rest of the way. Providence at the Dunk, I just think it's going to be too much. They're playing good ball, even with being a little bit banged up. So I like Providence at home. I took them 1.5. So go Friars tomorrow, and I think they're going to be working to get on the right side of the bubble for next week.
There you go. I'm agreeing with you once again. So St. John's actually took the first matchup in this one too, 75-73, also back on January 10th. So a little bit of repeat games here. But yeah, I just think it's the home court's too big of a factor here. It's really hard to win, they had a big win against Creighton at home last Wednesday. So the Friars are a tough team to beat in the Dunk. So I'm riding with you as well. What other plays are liking for tonight's games?
So the last real play, I'm really liking these midweek home team parlays. So I know, it's not the easiest way to make money, and they do kind of sometimes bite you in the butt, but I really like putting together a little money line parlay for the home teams in the Virginia game against Pitt, Wisconsin at home against Ohio State, Baylor at home against Oklahoma, and then Kentucky bouncing back in Rupp against Ole Miss. I saw that at plus 172. So have a chance to almost double your money if you ride with all the home favorites tomorrow.
There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, Ohio State's a horrible team. I'm a bit of a Buckeye fan, so they've been unbearable to watch. Absolutely sold that game against Indiana last week. Yeah, I really all those teams, I like the side you're riding with. Virginia's also really hot right now. Oklahoma was a team I was high on early in the year, but so far as of late, they've kind of fallen off. And yeah, Baylor, tough loss on Saturday against Kansas, but I like them to bounce back at home there. Yeah, I guess really the only one that would scare me is just be Kentucky, just how inconsistent they've been lately. But other than that, yeah, I really like those picks.
Yeah, that's a scary one, but four legs was where it really got into good value for me. So had to throw them in there. And then no other real plays except for I was leaning towards Florida, 9.5 against LSU at home. LSU is just not a good basketball team this year. They should have kept Will Wade. And then Michigan plus 15.5 against Illinois. That just seemed like a really high number. I know this isn't really been the type of year that they were looking for, and Illinois is a good team at home. But 15.5 just seemed like a high number for that one.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I would agree, especially, Illinois coming off a loss on the weekend, granted going on the road to Michigan State, now coming home. And yeah, Michigan's not a great team, but they did pick up a win against Wisconsin last week when I said Wisconsin had no business losing that game. So yeah, the Wolverines are tough sledding for me. I can't figure them out. But all right, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Ian, for coming on. We'll have to do this more often.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for having me. I'll do this whenever you'll have me. So let's make some money.
Yes, sir. All right, so thanks to Ian for that one. Now just kind of some of the other games that we didn't really touch on. First at 7 Eastern on ESPN, the 7th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels head to the now JMA Dome, I believe. It used to be the Carrier Dome for all this time. Carolina's an 8.5-point favorite. UNC won the first match between these two teams, 103-67. Really did it. The Bigs just dominated on the boards, out-rebounding them in points in the paint. Carolina dominated in those games. Syracuse really just is not a very good team, in my opinion. They've lost 3 of 4 and 4 of 6. They've struggled at home as well. Carolina, they had a nice bounce-back win against Miami after, they've lost these two past midweek games that I've taken them. Or, well, the first one I did not take them, but have picked on their games. This week, like I said, they won that first game by over 30 points. So 8.5, even though it's on the road, and they have been struggling a little bit lately. I like what I saw from the Tar Heels on Saturday to make me feel comfortable taking that 8.5. Then we also have another good one on ESPN2 at the same time at 7 Eastern. The 10th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones head to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats. Cincinnati, despite being unranked, is actually 1.5 favorites in this one. But I'm gonna rock with the Cyclones in this one. I mean, for sure gonna take the +1.5, and at that point, you might as well just take them to win on the money line. They've won 2 straight games, including 5-6. Cincinnati has struggled a bit. I mean, they've kept these games close, but just haven't been able to pull them out. They lost 67-62 against Houston on Saturday. And just the way the Cyclones have been playing, I mean, I counted them out. They were going to be my upset pick last week, and they just blew out Texas. Another big win this past weekend. So give me Iowa State to not only cover, but win outright in that one. Then touching on, me and Ian did talk about this game a little bit. He threw it in his parlay there. Ole Miss heading to this 22nd ranked Kentucky Wildcats at 9 Eastern on ESPN, the second game of the doubleheader. And in that one, Kentucky has lost 3 straight home games after losing 89-85 to Gonzaga on Saturday, really giving Gonzaga a chance now here to make the tournament as a large team. Ole Miss hasn't played since their 68-65 loss to South Carolina last Tuesday, which I took South Carolina in that one. And just from what I'm seeing with Kentucky can score the lights out of the ball. I mean, we've seen it all year. That's a very high-scoring game Saturday. But they don't play defense, and they keep teams in games. And Ole Miss, they did that last week. They came back. I mean, like I said, I thought I had an easy cover for South Carolina. But Ole Miss came back, made a game, only lost by 3. So with it being 8.5, I think I'm going to take Ole Miss plus 8.5. And, that's fine because Ian's parlay can still win, still take Kentucky on the money line. But if you're just looking for a spread pick, I'm going to take Ole Miss. And then to wrap it up, the mid-major game of the night, there's 2 good games here for the mid-major games on CBS Sports Network. But the one I'm featuring at 11 Eastern, New Mexico heads to Nevada. And these are 2 teams that are really on the fringe here in the Mountain West. The Mountain West could potentially get 6 teams in. I think 5 for sure. And if it's only 5 and not 6, I think these are going to be the 2 teams battling it out. Nevada is currently 2.5-point favorites at home. And as of Joe Lunardi's last bracketology, which came out before the weekend, so I believe one's going to drop, but it's not out yet at the time of me recording. It has Nevada in the first 4 out and New Mexico currently at a 9 seed. Well, the Wolfpack had 2 big wins last week against Utah State and San Diego State, so those are 2 big resume boosters. They could keep it going here. That'd be huge. New Mexico then also has lost 2 of 3, including the game over the weekend to UNLV, who's another team that's maybe trying to make a backdoor kind of sneak in from Mountain West. So the Lobos need to right the ship here if they want to make the tournament, keep their spot. Like I said, they're a 9 seed. Like right now they're in, but that's not like a couple more losses add up. They're going to find themselves out. And I think if Nevada wants a chance to jump them, I think they're going to do it. They're going to win tomorrow night, cover those 2.5 points. And yeah, like I mentioned, the other game before that, Colorado State and San Diego State once again matching up. So yeah, really good Mountain West doubleheader on CBS Sports Network tomorrow night. Just good games all around. So that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys tune in. Enjoy tomorrow night's games. Thank you once again to Ian for coming on. And yeah, if any of you guys, ever want to come on, let me know down in the comments. I would love to have some of my active commenters who are, out here liking and subscribing to the video on the show. So that's going to wrap it up. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.